Nepal is in transition for long. It is in transition not only in politics but also in socio-economic and cultural aspects. A number of issues are being hashed out in current discourse. However, Nepali society is heavily relying only on political level to resolve those issues. So far as political parties are concerned, they are yet to strike a consensus on the contentious issues of new constitution, as the deadline for promulgating new statute is looming near. As a result, frustration is on the rise among general population. But at the same time, a number of people are trying their best to put their views on current discourse through various ways. Today we are going to talk with Professor Dr. Abhi Subedi regarding the current discourse. Professor Subedi, welcome to the show.
I'm doing various things actually.
What are you doing now?
Nowadays I'm doing various things actually. I've been writing 2 books at the moment. One book is about the Joshmanis and the cult that prevailed in Nepal. And another book is about, I'm writing about myself actually, my memoirs, my experience, my long experience with literature, teaching and also theatre. I'm writing at the moment. And I have completed a play just now, which is based on the life of the late Vishweshwar Prasad Koirala. This is not a party, nothing to do with the Congress party or anything. This is a very free play. And Sunil Pokhrel is rehearsing the play at the moment.
You said that you are writing a play on Vishweshwar Prasad Koirala.
Yes, his life, his works, his writings and his politics, his mode of revolution and challenge to the autocratic regime.
And you also say that you are not about politics, but directly or indirectly, isn't it about politics? Writing about BP Koirala necessarily doesn't mean that it is also a politics?
It involves politics, of course. It involves politics because I have started. My starting point is the court hearing of Vishweshwar Prasad Koirala, where he defended himself. When he defended himself at the court, he defended the rights of the common people. That's the focus of my interest. So that involves politics. What I was impressed most by this court hearing was that he defends the right of the common man, common women. That is where I start my play.
You are writing a play and you also write on current affairs in daily papers. You also write poetry. You are also a columnist, a literary figure. And through the spectacle of a writer, how do you perceive current Nepali political, social or cultural situation?
It's a very complex question. I wish I were a politician so that I could address it directly from the point of view of my political party. But since I am not a politician, I don't belong to any political party. I am an academician. I perceive this problem from academic perspective. The question of deadlock.
The political standoff.
The stand of the deadlock, which is a major subject at the moment. Everybody is focusing on this subject of deadlock. I would perceive this concept of this deadlock as something that could be worked out. There are so many things involved in this deadlock. I'm a great admirer of political parties in Nepal. I've always admired the political parties. They have
You admire the political parties.
Yes, I have always admired them.
But unfortunately, political parties are not doing that thing which they should do. They are supposed to do.
They have come to such a stage from where they have not been moving. I mean that's where I'm talking about that deadlock. I think various factors are involved in this deadlock. They could be political. They could be psychological, or something to do with individuals' aims and perceptions also.
Let me know that why you admire present political parties.
First of all, they are responsible for bringing in the stage of politics where we are, state of republicanism in Nepal. And there are politicians who have fought for many years. They have spent many years in jail, and then they have fought.
They sacrifice themselves.
They sacrifice a lot of very important, significant part of their lives for the people. Actually, they have fought, And this is the achievement of their long struggle, their long fighting. So I admire them.
But
At the moment, unfortunately,
yeah,
they have failed to find a kind of a common passage.
they cannot deliver what they promised to do. Still, they are bickering on very abnormal things, on which they should not do that.
I think this is not quite an abnormal thing. This is a very democratic process. Talking is a democratic process. Sitting together is also a democratic
But
process.
not finding a conclusion.
Not finding
Is
a
that
conclusion. This is also a natural process, but I would think that they should not prolong it too much.
Yeah.
Because if the political parties prolong it, don't come to a certain conclusion, conclude it very soon, then the forces that are totally against the revolution, against the change, will find a space to grow, and then they will become very strong.
Am I right if I say political parties are playing a game of brinkmanship and they cannot deliver what they have promised earlier when people are on the roads, on the street, supporting them and revolting against the monarchy?
I think the issues are not so different. I mean, they share a lot of things in common. Like, for example, the federation based on the identity issues is a common thing. Everybody agrees with that. Nepal cannot, retract. I mean, go back to the earlier times. It is a kind of a progress. We have come to a stage from where we cannot go back. All the political parties agree. They have agreed in principle about the structure of the union. The kind of political solution that they have been talking about. There are some differences. Like, for example, we hear about the number of these states. How many states should be federated? The main problem that I perceive is that when you come to a negotiation, you should come with a certain degree of flexibility to negotiate. If you sit in negotiation and you are not flexible, you come with the same set of mind, then there will be no agreement, actually. You should have the flexibility, You should come whenever. What I have noticed is that people come to the negotiation table, but don't come with a sense of flexibility, with the same rigidity. You can't reach anywhere with that.
As a writer, as a playwright, as a poet, it means you are very optimistic about present political condition of Nepal.
I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic because many people, foreign leaders also, including the Indian Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, and others also have admired this Nepali political change. Why they have admired is because this present condition is the result of a kind of a grand kind of negotiation between the parliamentary political parties and the guerrilla forces. That's a very, very historical process. They sat on the table, they negotiated the issues, and then they have come to this stage. And that's a wonderful model.
But Professor Subedi, in the level of general populace,
yes,
the frustration is on the rise now.
Yes.
Against the political parties. They no longer believe in political parties as they did in the past. For example, 8 years ago, people believe political parties much. They hoped that they would bring new kind of dawn in Nepal. But now, when we are standing today...
But then there is one thing we should not forget. In the last election, when the people voted, they voted the forces, the democratic forces, the forces who had fought together. And the people who were contesting, fighting for the old system, they didn't fare as well as they did. So still the people believe very strong in the political parties. They believe them. The frustrations are there, of course. Once you believe somebody, and then if they don't deliver according to your expectations, then your frustrations are very natural. You become frustrated. That is what we notice nowadays, that people are frustrated. Frustration. This is not mistrust, this is a frustration. There is no choice. The political parties are the only agents of change.
Now the deadline of promulgating the new constitution is looming near.
Yes.
And political parties are aid to strike a kind of consensus, especially 3 issues or 4 issues like restructuring, federalism, or forms of governance, or electoral and judiciary system.
I hope they will come to a certain conclusion before that the deadline, because I have read in today's paper there are some progress in the discussions. I'm still hopeful. As a hopeful person, I hope till the last moment. And I think they will find some solution, because these are very seasoned politicians. They have fought together, worked together, and the differences are not very big. On the issues of like federalism and consolidating this people's achievement, there are not very big differences.
You agree that there is frustration in general population. What is the main cause of it? Is it only politics, or other causes are also
there are various factors of frustration. The main question is, related to the political question, the constitution writing. People are frustrated. I agree with that. People are frustrated because it's become very late for us, in Nepal. Despite so many achievements,
it takes almost a decade.
Long history. We have not even been able to promulgate a constitution, draft a constitution, and give it to the people, and then start a kind of a building the nation, building the country, economic problem. There are so many issues, so many problems in this country. Common people's destiny, it's at the subhuman level actually. I mean, it's time to improve.
What does it mean, subhuman level?
Well, the dignity of the people. In the 21st century, people should have at least basic necessities should be fulfilled. People's basic necessities, their aspirations should be fulfilled. Basic need, educational needs, their shelter. These are the basic needs. These basic needs of the people are not fulfilled, and people are going abroad and suffering.
Every day more than 1,500 Nepali youths have to go.
And nine dead bodies are flown in.
In a coffin
every day. 9 dead bodies are flown in.
That is the situation.
That's the situation. That's what.
And we boast that Nepal is in democratic process. Nepal is promulgating a new constitution, and Nepali leaders are doing this and that.
No, they should promulgate the constitution and then make experiment. They should be bold. They should be flexible. They should be guided by the suffering of the people. That is my perception. As a literary writer, I would see. I have tried to put that in my plays on the stage also. The suffering of that people. Suffering is tremendous suffering of the people. That suffering should guide the policies of the political parties. Whatever political party you belong to, you should be inspired, guided by the suffering of the people. That is why I was impressed with the Visweswar Koirala. When he was giving the court hearing at the special court, the first thing he said about King Mahendra dissolving the parliament was that by dissolving the parliament, the king committed a crime against the common people, he said. The first sentence he says about this is that he demoralized the people. The common man was demoralized that day when he dissolved people's elected house, imprisoned elected politician. So he demoralized the common.
The then king demoralized.
The common people. That is the starting point of my play also. Because the common people is demoralized. Common people is insulted, demoralized. If your political actions always demoralize that people, no matter how big your achievements.
Can I interrupt you? Can I say that the present political parties and their big wigs, big leaders, top guns are also demoralizing the Nepali people? Can I say?
If they fail to,
They have already failed.
Not yet, because we are still waiting for the deadline. Let us see, let us wait. People can't wait too long, that's one thing.
But there is not a logical reason to wait, people say.
Yeah, people say, but, well, the people's voice is kind of a complex question. So many different people are saying different things, like people have become free, and then they have been talking about their identity. The marginalized people are speaking just now. The people whose voices are muted for centuries, they are speaking. So people are speaking.
You have said that the leading cause of the frustration of the people is politics. And do you find other kind of causes that lead Nepali society toward frustration?
Well, there are many factors actually. Politics is not the only cause, but that's the very major cause. Major cause in the sense that if you are responsible for bringing changes in the country, you have to first of all write the constitution, right? Give it to the constitution, people-oriented constitution, identity-oriented constitution, democratically oriented constitution, and that is the most important
What
one.
do you mean by people-oriented constitution? I would like to ask another question also, identity-oriented constitution. You said, first of all, let me know that what do you mean by people-oriented constitution?
People-oriented constitution means the constitution is of the people. You know.
Every political parties are talking about that. They are boasting. They are going to write new constitution.
That's why I have said they don't have big differences among them. They are all people-oriented. I don't want to favor one political party. They all have sacrificed a lot, fought a lot for people's oriented.
Does it mean that?
So any constitution that comes now will be people-oriented because that will be people's constitution. You see.
Yeah. Does it mean that their destination is the same, but the way they are taking is different?
I think so. The methods are different, and they are not big differences. That's what I said. People should sit together at the negotiation table, not with a rigid perception, but with a certain degree of flexibility. When you enter the negotiation table, you should go with the flexibility. Show flexibility, then you can work.
But they are playing a blame game. For example, one political party says that, for example, Unified CPN Maoist is saying that Nepali Congress and CPN UML is not promulgating people-oriented constitution, and the vice versa. How do you perceive it?
Since I'm not a political analyst,
through the spectacle of columnists, of civic society leaders.
In my columns also, I don't only necessarily write political.
But in
questions.
one way or the other.
One way or the other, I'm talking about the society,
politics,
about the frustration, about the deadlock, as you rightly said.
Yeah.
My point, I repeat again, is people are not being flexible enough to reach a solution. That's a very human thing, you know. I mean, they should, and also, I don't know. I have not studied that very closely. That there may be other factors like psychological factors, politics, ambitions, and power, lust for power, as Bertrand Russell said long ago.
Yeah.
These are some other questions which are involved in politics. So people should understand that. Political parties should understand and then drop those weaknesses if they have any. If they have, you know.
Don't you think that now political parties are repeating the same thing? They are taking the same circle, but trying to reach a new destination, expecting new thing extra?
No, I mean the goals are common. These goals were set earlier, set in advance. They are following the track. You know, I mean, so far so good. They are following the track they had set out earlier. The agendas are the same: constitution, mass participation, you know, and guarantee of the rights of the people who are marginalized, people who for centuries been marginalized, muted, their voices should be heard. Constitution should have the provision to do that. Political scientists, you should talk to a political scientist, should be sitting here and answering your questions.
Yeah.
But as a literary writer, as an academic, what I perceive is that whenever any deadlock occurs in kind of such a situation, many factors play a role in that one.
Not a single factor.
Not a single factor. Political scientists, others would say that, oh, this is the single factor. People, certain political party didn't fulfill the promise. But I, as an academic, would see more complex reason. Various different factors go into the making of this kind of a complex situation.
You have used a term, identity-oriented constitution. What does it mean?
I have said already, because
identity.
You see, any constitution,
Yeah.
any constitution that is promulgated, that is given to the people, should address the rights of the people whose voices have been muted for centuries, as I said earlier. That is what I mean by identity. People have identities. These identities have been kind of overshadowed by a certain hegemonic big power that have been ruling the country. You know, that's what I mean by identity.
Political parties are bickering over it for a long time. They defined identity in different ways.
Yeah, as I said earlier to you, you should talk to a political scientist about this matter. But what I see here in the present situation is that none of the political parties are against identity question.
Yeah.
Some say that identity should be prioritized. The state should be named after certain
Is it right?
group these are discussions going on. Nobody should be rigid about it. You know, nobody should be rigid about it. I don't want to, as I said earlier to you, I cannot answer this question because I don't have that kind of a very extensively, I have not studied this matter. But my point is that none of the political parties are against identity. My concept of identity is that any constitution that comes in the country should address the people whose voices have been muted for centuries. Any constitution that comes today should respect the identity of the people in terms of culture, the language, the representation in the power system, caste, gender, and so on. That's what I mean by identity politics. And beyond that, how many identities and how many states, that I don't know, because this is something that the political scientists or the political party leaders would answer. But my point is that they should not kind of make it as a kind of a blockade, to reach a solution. They could easily find a solution with a certain degree of flexibility.
If so they apply flexibility.
And we in theatre put our own perceptions of identity, put our own perceptions of flexibility in a number of ways. Like so many plays are going on just now. Different theatre groups are staging plays. So we address the human identity, the human problems in a number of ways. That's what we do in theatre. It's not only how the political parties define identity or people's human cohesion. Our way of perceiving are very different. Sometimes can be very different. We look into the heart of the matter. We look into people's behavior also, psyche also, and also the question of ultimately main question in all this discussion is that the common people of Nepal should not suffer anymore.
Yeah. If political parties,
that is our focus. So, political parties, social scientists, or any of the people who are working in other areas, they all should focus on this question. But now the situation is so complex. There are certain factors which have become international, regional.
Yeah.
There are something that not even the political parties here can guide, control, change the situation. Maybe the political parties are also influenced by these factors.
Does it mean that
international factors, regional factors,
geopolitical factor, or
geopolitical, economic factors?
Then how can
the economic
resolve
factors, the capitalist, the what they call capitalist dynamism that may be operating in the region, internationally, globally. So we don't know what is happening behind the screen. There's another factor. We don't know. Everything is not.
Then how can we believe political parties they can resolve such kind of contentious issues which has so many broad?
Because they are the agents of change. They represent change. They have shown in the past. They have fought for it. So we still believe in what they have been doing, and we should continue to believe them and give them chance.
But Nepali history shows that political parties fought for the people at a certain period of time, but they collapsed before they could promulgate what they have promised for the people.
They have not collapsed. They are still. Different political parties have been putting forward their own ideas about.
I'm talking about the past history. In Nepali history, it happened time and again. For example, the revolution of 2007, BS, then 2047, 48
No, the political
BS.
parties did not deceive the people. It was the dictators who deceived the people. Like Biswar Karala's very precious years were wasted in Sundarijal jail. He's the leader of the political party. Pushpalal was exiled. These different political parties, the leaders were exiled, some were jailed. They did not deceive the people. The dictators deceived the people. The people, when they came out, they fought and restored democracy.
I appreciate your optimistic attitude and perspective and views, Professor Subedi. We are now at the end of the program. Let me know that. How can political parties resolve the contentious issues on which they spent almost a decade?
be little flexible. Realize that what you have fought for together, the causes are still there, and then um, there are no big differences among you.
Among them.
Among you.
Yeah.
And just go to the negotiation table and just become a little flexible.
But
That's
unfortunately,
all,
what they are doing is they are just trying to make each other just a binary opposition.
well, so far, but let's hope that they will reach a solution. They will reach a solution. That is because they have to. There's no choice.
Is there any solid reason to have a hope?
The reason is that there is no going back. There is no alternative.
But
political,
Nepali history shows that
any political parties also, to use the philosophical term, exist. They are in existentialist condition. Every political party is suffering from an existential angst,
yeah.
a pain and anxiety. You see, everybody is afraid of what will happen to them, to their future tomorrow. So it is this very existential, this angst, this fear of the people.
There is not any physical challenger who can challenge the political parties as you use the existential angst. Is there any? For example, monarchy was there in the past. They felt they would collapse if they didn't deliver what they have promised for the people. But unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever it may be, there is no any kind of physical challenger or invader.
There are challenges. The people themselves will decide tomorrow. But there is another side of challenge also. There is what Karl Marx in Communist Manifesto says, specters of the workers.
Yeah.
And Jacques Derrida used this very word, specter, and he wrote a book called Spectre of Marx. That is to say, the specters are also waiting for their chance, you see. There are specters, the ghosts are also waiting for the chance. If you fail, they will take it over, or they will destabilize the society. The old factors are not completely gone. Yeah, there are so many different complex factors. People don't easily, power memory is very, very complex. People don't easily forget the power memory. Power is such a thing that it lingers for a long time in your memory, in your action, in the society. People can easily deceive
people are the game changer of history.
Game changers of history, but many people are also vulnerable by the same token.
Yeah.
If you fail to deliver your promise, the democratic political parties or whatever, the others will come to give you illusion of hope, and that situation will be very complex. So the political parties now cannot waste any time. Now in this context of Nepal, we have come to such a pass that.
It means if political parties believe in people, if they hear from the people, they can deliver new constitution.
Yes, they should. For their own sake also, for their own existence also. There are visions, of course. Political parties claim that each political party says our vision is the best. Okay, fine. Come and test it in the common ground. Come together and test it.
That is no other alternative except that.
No other alternative.
Consensus?
Consensus and contest.
Yeah.
Democratic contest. The constitution means there will be no dictatorship. No one party rule will be possible.
Yeah.
So that means every democratic context involves contest. Contest also, democratic contest. You have to contest. No single monolithic party or idea will rule the country anymore. People should be very clear about that. Contest and consensus.
If they believe in people and they make consensus by considering the needs and aspirations of the history and people,
yes,
they can promulgate new constitution. Otherwise, there is a big question.
Well, I don't believe in apocalypse. I don't have apocalyptic vision. I have only optimistic vision.
Yeah.
I still believe in the future of contest and consensus. The future of Nepal, political future of Nepal, will be based on this contest, democratic contest, elections, or parties according to people's choice take turns to rule the country. So contest and consensus.
Appreciating your optimistic views, I'd like to give a lot of thanks to you for giving us time, Professor Subedi.
Thank you.
We have talked with Professor Dr. Abhi Subedi on the present political emphasis today. Thanks for watching. Stay with us. Goodbye.